Hey, welcome back, Veteran Nation fans. And this is this week's college football picks. Now, I did publish my picks last week. Didn't do too bad. Did not do too bad. All my bets, I was 24 and 16. So I'm hitting right about 60% right now. Uh, I'm just going by the odds. If you were to bet on everything with the same amount of money, you would have come out ahead if you were betting like me. But I'm going to get into this week's, and I'll let you know where I'm at and with everything that's going on. These are the current money lines as I'm recording this. They are subject to change before the game, so just know that. But I'm going to give you my picks as the lines currently are. So we're going to start off with Thursday night. We've got Tulane versus UT San Antonio. Right now, it is it's about a 4 point game. So right now, Tulane is favored. I kind of like that. I will take that one right there. And here, let me just highlight these. There we go. So I'd have Tulane over UTSA. I'm going to give up those 4 points. They're at San Antonio, but I'll risk that one. Then we have Memphis versus Rice. Memphis, hot. They won for me last week. Or actually, no. As I think about it, I think they won, but did I lose on the spread? Let me take a look here. Yeah, I lost on the spread. I lost by like a point. They were really close. And I said that one was going to be a good game. But yeah, I lost via the spread. I picked the game correctly, but I lost via the spread. And I'm going to go with Memphis. They're doing it. I'm a believer. Uh, North Carolina versus Syracuse. Syracuse is picked by 1.5 at home. I'm going to say they go ahead and take that one down. North Carolina gave Virginia a scare. So this one I could be wrong about this, but I'm just going to go with they're at home. So that's why I'm going to take them. Sam Houston versus Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech is favored by 16.5. I'm going to go ahead. I'm taking the favorites so far. I'm taking Louisiana Tech. Rutgers, an underdog by 13 points to Illinois at Illinois. Illinois has been playing really good. I'm going to take Illinois. I think they have a good team, and it's Rutgers. If anything, I think Rutgers is going to underperform. So far, I'm going with all the favorites. Central Florida at Baylor. You know, this is an upset waiting to happen, but I don't. You know what? I'm taking UCF. I'm taking UCF on the road. They're going to pull off the upset. That's what I'm taking with Baylor. Army Air Force. Get right down in there. Air Force is favored. Uh, actually, I'm taking a look. They're if you go the spread, you're getting 1.5 points either way. This is kind of a 50-50 game. I'm going to go with Army. They've been there before. They know how to operate. They are at Air Force, but yeah, I'm going to go with Army. Vanderbilt at Texas. Vanderbilt is hot. Texas has struggled, but I'll tell you, Vanderbilt. I everyone is on board with them. They're a top 10 or 11 team. They're I think they're tied for 10th actually. They're either 10th or 11th. Don't quote me on it. But again, I'm going to go with Texas. I think Texas has what it takes. They just play very very rough. They did get very fortunate with their quarterback coming in off the bench. McLaughlin, is that his name? But he came in off the bench and was key for them in overtime. So I'm going with Texas. Vandy is here. I will say that Vandy is here. So if they were to pull out the winners in this, I would not be surprised. As I'm looking at the lines here, um, yeah, you're not really getting that good odds. Navy at North Texas. So Navy is an underdog to North Texas, 5.5. I'm actually going to go with Navy. I think Navy's got the team. North Texas, they're a good team. They're going to be playing at home, but Navy can slap you in the face. They can do that. West Virginia, Houston. Houston is favored by 14 points. I think that's going to be way bigger. Houston just they've got a really good team. Uh, West Virginia has been a little bit underwhelming. They had some flashes of brilliance early on, but they've been underwhelming. Uh, Duke at Clemson. Clemson is only favored by 3.5. They were supposed to be they were what number two starting off, Like, and they have cooled down so much. But they're playing Duke and they're playing at home. Death Valley is a tough place to play. I'm going with Clemson. Miami and SMU. I think this is actually going to be a really good game. Really good game, but I think Miami has everything that they need to outdo that spread. So I'm taking Miami. Uh, Penn State at Ohio State. Ohio State is a 20-point favorite. This was a game at the beginning of the year. Everybody circled this game, and the implosion at Penn State has just been epic. And honestly, I'm not surprised by it. I know a lot of people were high on James Franklin. He was able to put teams together, but he only won when they weren't expected to win. And you don't want to be that team, especially when you're playing in the Big Ten. You want to be the guy who wins when you're expected to. And I know everyone talks about the ranked teams and everything. That's the big thing. You want to win when you are expected. It's one thing to play a top 10 team and be an underdog and no one expect you. But when you're playing a team and people are like, oh, you're supposed to be good, that's who you want to be. I think Ohio State, uh, a week off, Ohio State, they could fumble, but I think it's just a chance in the middle of the season for them to get healthy and they're going to come out and be stronger than ever. So coming off their bye week, I'm taking Ohio State. They're going to win by 21 points. I I would probably be taking this if it was a 24-point spread, to be honest. Um, Alabama Birmingham at UConn. UConn is 11.5. You know what? It's going to be cold. That's a lot of the deciding factor sometimes. But UConn, what they do last week? I did have um, so I took Rice by 10.5, and Rice did beat them. I don't remember what the spread is, but yeah, really, I'm not UAB. I think they had one or two upsets there in the year, but other than that, I haven't seen much out of them. Buffalo, Bowling Green, 50-50. Bowling Green lost to Kent State. It's tough to lose a game like that and then, uh, bounce right back. I think Buffalo comes in and takes them over. Now, that one could be an emotional one because I went to Toledo. Bowling Green is not my team. So I could be very wrong on that one. And I'm sure I want to hear it from the Bowling Green fans. Sorry, Hawkeyes. Arizona State, Iowa State. Uh, with this one, I'm going Iowa State. I actually would probably be taking them at 8 points, but here they're favored by 5.5, so I'm going with Iowa State. East Carolina and Temple. East Carolina is favored. They're at Temple. Uh, I can't remember what Temple did last week. I know actually they were favored by 4.5, and I lost that bet. I think they did lose to Tulsa. Um, yeah, I think Eastern Carolina is coming in hot and ready to go, so I'm going with them. Um, Philadelphia is not an easy place to play, though, so I could be wrong on that one. Louisville at Virginia Tech. Louisville has been hot. Virginia Tech did pretty good last week, but yeah, you know what? I'm taking Virginia Tech. I don't think Louisville wins by 10. I think they win. I don't think they win by 10. So New Mexico, UNLV. Uh, the Lobos did pretty good last week. UNLV, they're doing okay. I'm trying to think. Did they play last week? I don't think UNLV did. I think they had a. I know Nevada played last week, and New Mexico won last week. Um, so I think UNLV had a bye. New Mexico coming off a big win. I'm going with New Mexico. Fresno State, Boise State. This is normally a really good matchup, but Boise State has a lot of things in their toolbox. I'm going with them. Pittsburgh at Stanford. Pittsburgh's been hot. Stanford has not. Going Pittsburgh all the way. Now, if this was like a 20-point game, I would probably be thinking, okay, Stanford could keep it close. But yeah, I'm going straight Pittsburgh all day long. In fact, I would probably parlay that with something else just to increase these odds. That's not the world's greatest odds right there. New Mexico State at Western Kentucky. Yeah, Western Kentucky all day long. The Hilltoppers, yeah, they're like I'm kind of like only 8.5. Michigan State at Minnesota. Both teams heartbreaking losses last week. Uh, only only up 3.5. I think PJ Fleck. Again, I think this goes into overtime. I think this one does, but I think Minnesota comes up on top. Question is, will they do it by a field goal or more? I'm gonna say they will. Uh, this one, I wouldn't put a lot of money on. Indiana, Maryland. Indiana favored by 21 and a half. Maryland struggled this year. Yeah, Indiana, they're going to win that one again. I picked them last week, and I said they were going to win by a lot, and they well overshot that. Indiana, Ohio State playing some of the best football right now, and I see that continuing this week. Louisiana, South Alabama. South Alabama favored. UL. This one's a toss up. Even I'll take, or you know what? I'm going to take the points because I think that's going to be a close game. ODU and UL Monroe, and I mistakenly said ODU was in Richmond last week, so sorry about that. I was thinking of the Spiders, and I screwed that one up big time. Sorry about that, guys. I also called Wisconsin, Washington, and I also called Oregon. Who did I confuse? The Oklahoma. So I had some screw ups last week. Uh, ODU favored by 16.5. I think they can do that. I think they can do that. There's no Texas Tech, Kansas State. They're not doing anything right here. I think Texas Tech. Um, unless if is this game canceled or something? I don't know why those are out. Um, Delaware and Liberty. Yeah, I'm not gonna make a pick on that game. Um, Georgia, Florida State, or Georgia, Florida. Sorry about that. Florida State fans are mad. Florida fans are mad. I pissed them all off. Georgia favored by 7.5. I think they do that. I think they do that. In fact, I think they win this game by 2 touchdowns. Notre Dame, Boston College. Ooh, Notre Dame favored by 28.5. My instinct is to say no, but because of my feelings about Notre Dame, and I get things wrong with them, I'm going to go with them. Um, Virginia, Cal. Virginia is favored by 4. Yeah, I think they win by 4. Uh, Central Michigan, Western Michigan. At Western Michigan. Western Michigan, very, very great atmosphere there in Kalamazoo. Been there, played many times. I'm going with Western Michigan. Michigan State, Arkansas. Arkansas is favored, or Michigan State, Mississippi State. Mississippi State coming off a really good game last week. Arkansas favored by 4.5. Yeah, I think they win. But yeah, Mississippi State played tough last week, really tough. Oklahoma State, Kansas. Uh, yeah, I'm going with Kansas. 24.5 is a lot for Kansas. It is a lot, but I like Kansas. I like what they do. So I've got some faith in them. Wyoming, San Diego State. Both these teams were winners for me last week. Both of them were. San Diego State, though, 10.5. They're at home. Yeah, I think they clear that. Um, Purdue at Michigan. Michigan favored by 21. Uh, I think Michigan does it. I don't. This game. I think it's going to be like the. I think it's going to be a close game until the fourth quarter. Michigan is really getting all the breaks in the fourth quarter, which are allowing them to pull away in the last 2 weeks. Michigan State was playing tough, but that was a rivalry game, so and I thought that could be an actual upset, but Michigan State had a lot of key things happen for them late in the game. I did watch that game, almost the whole thing, but I definitely was watching the second half. So yeah, just like the last 2 weeks, they're going to pull it out in the fourth quarter. Arizona at Colorado. Colorado did not do good last week. They are struggling. Arizona going all the way. Big question is, well, I'm not gonna start speculating yet about. We'll wait and see what happens. South Carolina, Ole Miss. South Carolina, man, they just had it all ready, and they were ready to put it together. Alabama totally screwed me because they did not uh, did not cover the spread. South Carolina should have won that game. They just fell apart. Had a couple key misses, and it got into their heads. It was all a mental game. I think they have a good team, but watching Ole Miss, and I was not a believer of Ole Miss, but they did play Oklahoma very, very well, and I think they can put things together, especially against South Carolina. And they're at home, so yeah, I think that'll be a good one. I'm really looking forward to the Egg Bowl. I think that'll be a good game. But I don't like looking forward ahead at this point. Georgia Tech, NC State. Yeah, Georgia Tech all day long. Only 6.5. They're going to cover that. I'm sure of it. That would be my surefire one. I don't think things are ever guaranteed, but this would look. This is the one I would absolutely be betting on. Kentucky at Auburn. Auburn is favored by 10.5. I'm going to take Auburn, but I'm not sure on this score. 10.5. Like I could see Auburn pulling. I could see Auburn winning that by 21. I could also see them winning only by 7. It's what Auburn team shows up. That's what the key is. Okay, Wake Forest, and Florida State. Uh, I'm going to go with Florida State. They've had some misses, but I think all in all, they have a team that's there. I think they're really starting to put things together, and I think they're going to postseason. I think they're going to do something, or at least turn some heads. Oklahoma, Tennessee. Good game. Oklahoma coming off a loss. Tennessee, their game was tight. I can't remember if I took them last week. Did I? I think I may have. I do not see. I do not see them. Yeah, they covered over Kentucky. Yeah, I did take them. Uh, I think Tennessee. They're at home. Neyland Stadium, tough place to play. Lots of people. USC at Nebraska. Yeah, USC. They're scrappy. They're scrappy. And here's the thing: they have playoffs on their mind. I know there's a lot of people in the Big Ten who they got these shoestring chances to make it into the playoffs. Uh, I think USC is the best out of all those. All those teams who are kind of like on the bubble. USC is my pick. Um, Washington State, Oregon State. I'm actually going Oregon State. Washington State's not bad, but yeah, I think this is an upset. Arkansas State, Troy. Ooh, this one's a tough one. This one's a tough one. I'm gonna go Troy. I don't know. Uh, Cincinnati at Utah. Now, I do know one of the coordinators at Utah. We grew up in the same town, know him very well. So I want to take you to Utah, but I got a feeling my emotion is involved, so I'm going to actually take Cincy. Uh, Hawaii at San Jose State, late game, late game. Uh, hmm, this one's 50-50. I'm going San Jose State. So there we go. Those are my picks, guys. Again, I was 24-16 last week. Let's see where I'm at this week. Please tell me where you think I'm wrong. Feel free to come on in here and talk some smack and let me know how wrong I am, and we'll see on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday how well I do. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.